on 414, he has the cult going, and he says, he's talking to Jubal, of course, and Mike says, "Oh yes, I grok Marx, Jubal." Now I should explain that Marx meant before he starts his cult, he is a carny. This is a strange part of the book, but he starts out as a carny, and he does like tricks, because Mike has a few powers, like magical powers, really, which I think kind of take away from the book. I think it's kind of easy to write a fantasy novel and you just give your character powers, like they can, become invisible or make things disappear or whatever. I just think it's so easy to do that. Just make some wizard and make him do these things to get out of certain situations. It just seems less legitimate to me and more creative. I think it would be nice if they were more creative in their solutions as opposed to saying, "Oh, we just made the bad guys disappear." But that happens in the book, which I just think is less legitimate. But he starts as a carny and kind of makes things disappear, and he tries to get money that way. And so marks are people that you get money out of at a carnival, I think. So let me keep going. So he says, "Oh yes, I grok Marx, Jubal. At first I did preach free. Didn't work. We humans have to make considerable progress before we can accept a free gift and value it. I never let them have anything free until the 6th circle." So that's the 6th circle of this cult. So when you begin at the cult, there's circles you have to move up into. "By then they can accept, and accepting is much harder than giving." I thought this was a very good point, a very interesting point that one could think about for a little while. He's saying that if it's something that's simply free and not invested in, then people will not value it. Consider YouTube videos. There are millions of YouTube videos. Most people don't contribute to them. Like, you can watch ads, which are involuntary, and the YouTuber that made the video that has the ad on it gets like a penny. It's something really trivial per ad. But very few people will actually donate money to YouTubers, or like they have these Patreon accounts, and I think even Google Plus has some tip thing. But very few people will do that because they don't really. It is free, and they don't value it. The author is saying that it takes a lot of time to accept something as free and value it and contribute and donate to. So sometimes after listening again to a video you made about a week ago, I decide that I really didn't do a good job, and really in this particular one I think I really just pointed out the obvious, but there's more here to get at, so I'm going to try to do that again. The problem is this idea of, can we value something that is free? Or maybe it's just more difficult. And this is what I'm thinking on this topic. Something that costs money, we are made to immediately decide whether the product or service is worth it. So is it worth $20? Because we have to pay it if we want it. So something that costs money, we immediately have to decide whether it's worth it. Something that is free, we do not have to assess its value. And so that's why things that are free tend to be unappreciated or less appreciated. So this is, I think, part of what the book is saying in terms of it takes a long time to appreciate something that is free. And that is why in the book he mentions that he doesn't offer things for free until the 6th circle. He wants his cult members to spend the time that it takes to appreciate something that is free. Because it being free takes away from the process of appreciation, I guess you could say. Like, compared that to if something costs money, you are immediately gripped with having to make a decision and therefore having to assess or appraise the value of the product or service. But not so if it's free. Like, consider getting mints from the waitress at the end of a dinner. Those are free. Like, sure, you paid for the meal, but those mints are essentially free. You can take them or leave them. Are they appreciated? If you go to a restaurant and you don't get mints at the end, does it really matter? Does it really matter? Well, no, it doesn't. It's not appreciated. So perhaps the message here, the moral of the story, maybe, or for this point, I mean, is that something that is free may be something worth appraising and assessing. Or we may find that in its absence, losing it, the access to it, we may actually end up discovering what it had done for us